Exodus chapter 14, conclusion. Okay, so another beautiful waterfall there behind us to show the beauty of God's creation here in Meghalaya, India, northeast India. Close to the Bangladesh border, which looking down there, just down there. Right, so in this chapter we see the destruction of Pharaoh's army. So these guys, they heard the story that no, the Jews are kind of lost. Seemingly, they are like Ivan Susanin leading them in the desert, and they are not the not a very wise guy. He led them all the way up to the sea, and there's no way back. There's just a way. I mean, forward. They are caught between the sea, and if the army comes from the back, I mean, for a tactician, for a warrior, this is now I guess, the best scenario. These guys can't go forward; they only need to go back, and back we are there, right? They can't go back, so we can just pick them off there at the sea. Doesn't sound it seems utterly stupid. Okay, it seems utterly stupid, and but yes, God had a plan. And we see now in this what this plan was. Ultimately, now I see what this plan was and the outcome of all of this. So they came to the sea. The Israelites are like, oh no, let's go and get them back, because we're losing too much here. All our workforce is gone. Who's going to build all our pyramids, our palaces, our cities? No one to do it. We don't want to do it. It's dirty work, right? Washing your hands with sand or something like that. I don't want to do that. Let me get soap. But ultimately, then they understood that economically wise, the economy would have collapsed. So we need to get these guys back. So they set off to catch them. God, because they thought like that, God hardened Pharaoh's heart, that nothing is going to stop him. Even all these miracles, the opening of the sea in front of them, is not going to stop Pharaoh. A few words just on the opening of the sea. I spoke a lot about that already in the teaching part. And I already mentioned the story, joke about the little boy that went to Sunday school, and then his Sunday school teacher told him that it was the Reed Sea and the water was like this deep, and they just waded through a swampy kind of an area. Now there's a part like that in Egypt, and that's that. And then the boy got home and was so excited about this miracle that God did. It's like, no, wow, Mom, I just learned something today, that God drowned the whole Pharaoh's army in this little bit of water. Oh, you know, that's kind of not possible. And I explained in the teaching part, or the introduction part, that there's a wall on both sides. Right, so the scientific explanation of just a wind blowing it in one direction and then kind of wall on one side, this verse is not correct, because there are walls on both sides. Moses made a point to show that there's walls on both sides. So this is not just a natural occurrence. Again, it's like the burning bush. Moses, if people say just, oh man, just kind of bushes like that in that part of the world, yes, it might be. But Moses was seeing bushes like that, and he would have walked past them by now. No, he did not. It's something else was there at play, which is not the norm. Like here as well. If that is just a high tide, low tide, so what? Wait for another one. If this was just a wind blowing and then, wait for another wind or something like that, just go around. All these things would then contradict this verse of walls on both sides. Now, yes, we have absolutely no idea how high the wall was. Was it a kilometer high wall on both sides kind of idea? No idea. Did water like flash from there, like and then dripped on them on the side, kind of? Yeah, there's some kind of idea later on in the New Testament concerning the baptism in the Red Sea as they were crossing the Red Sea. But actually, that water was not a full immersion. Okay, now I don't want to eat out here at the Baptist. I just the Presbyterians or Reformed people we would always speak when we get that's just a sprinkling of water, but that's not part of the discussion so much now here, and we will get back to that when we get to the New Testament, right? And the meaning of that. But yes, they went. We don't know. It's not that important. What we do know: walls of water on both sides. How high? No idea. Doesn't matter, right? That waterfall over there is beautiful, spectacular, but I guess if it was like a ton of water being dropped on it and all of that flowing off, it's going to look a lot more spectacular. We went to the Seven Sisters not far from here. And yes, it's a little bit, I've seen better, but it's because there's so much water in it. If there's a lot of water, it's going to look a lot more spectacular. So, yeah, that's not so much the point. It's not important how high these walls were, but there were two walls on both sides. So it contradicts those other opinions. And I will therefore, it clearly is something extra happening here, not just a usage of natural elements to bring forth a miracle, which is not fully naturally explainable. Okay. And Pharaoh saw that, but his heart is hardened. And he didn't care anymore. He just went in stupid there, not blindfolded, blinded by hate, by just his own wanting to get back at them for everything that happened. I guess after all this, he just hate these people so much. He wanted to kill all of them so that he can be. I guess if they kill all, then maybe in his thought system he would then be rid of their god. And then if they are all dead and their god is then dead, then no more plagues. Maybe in there from their viewpoint, world view that would have made sense. Or just get these guys back, and because that is actually what he wanted more, was getting back to work for them. So what's going to work out? How is it going to work out? No, God confused them. Like the Tower of Babel, God confused the people. Yeah, God confused them. They were thrown in disarray. They got stuck in the mud, unlike the Jews who just went through. Now, yes, sure, with so many people walking through on dry ground, but walking on formerly wet ground, they are going to start making the soil less sturdy. And when these people with their thin wheels and come through, they are going to, because, a flat foot has more, not volume, it covers a bigger, my English is leaving me here. It covers a bigger area. So if your chance of sinking in then is less than if it's a narrow. So someone with a narrow foot is just going to slip through basically. With a wider foot, you're not going to. Like here's, yeah, you won't be able to see, so I'm not going to use the example. But so if you stand with your foot on the one side's hanging over, the other side is the. So if your feet was half of mine, for example, then all of you will be in this part. So with the narrower wheels than the feet of the people, and Stanley Pharaoh and these people would easily, after all those people walked through, made the soil less sturdy. Yes, easily explainable, but they could be caught in it. And then God told Moses again to bring all the water down. The water came down. They were all confused. They were lost. Water from both sides. They all drowned. The people saw it. And ultimately, the glory of God shone forth over in this situation. Bangladesh.